peace, Benaja Vedap sat in the window of his office smoking his elder stem pipe. Halfway to the zenith of Cumberland Range rose blue-grey in the afternoon haze. A speckled hen swaggered down the main street of the settlement, cackling foolishly. अभी बस start हुई है. Up the road came the sound of creaking axles, and then a slow cloud of dust, and then a bull cart bearing Rancic Bilbro and his wife. मतलब Rancic Bilbro अपनी wife जो थे वो अपनी cart में आ रहे थे. The cart stopped at the justice's door and the two climbed down. तो justice के door पे वो cart रुकी और the two climbed down. Rancy was a narrow 6 feet of sallow brown skin and yellow hair. The imperturbability of the mountains hung upon him like a suit of armor. अब ये जो था बंदा ये माउंटेन से आया था, ठीक है ना. The woman was callous, angled, snuff-brushed, and weary with unknown desires. Through it all gleamed a faint protest of cheated youth, unconscious of its loss. The justice of the peace slipped his feet into his shoes, and for the sake of dignity moved to let them enter. कहा भाई ठीक है आप आ जाओ अंदर. We all, said the woman in a voice like the wind blowing through the pine boughs, want a divorce. हम दोनों को divorce चाहिए. She looked at Rancy to see if he noted any flaw, ambiguity, or evasion, or partiality, or self-partisanship in a statement of their business. औरत ही बोली भैया मुझे तो ना divorce चाहिए. Divorce तुम्हें? तुम्हारी तो वैसी हालत है. A divorce, repeated Rancy. मैं ठीक है मामा. क्यों? नहीं तुम्हारी कैसी हालत है? औरत से क्या कहा? देखा भैया क्या औरत का दिमाग तो ठीक है, वो कह रही है डिवोर्स चाहिए. A divorce, repeated Rancy with a solemn nod. We all can't get along with to her and Noah. हम दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ नहीं रह सकते. It's lonesome enough to live in the mountains when a man and woman cares for one another. वैसे ही माउंटेन्स में रहते हैं हम दोनों, एक दूसरे का ख्याल रखते रहें तो वैसे ही लोनसम होता है. But when she is splitting like a wildcat or a sullenel, like a hoot owl in the cabin, a man had got no call to live with her. पर जब चुड़ैलों की तरह चिल्लाते तो एक आदमी रह नहीं सकता. When he's no Count Vermin, said the woman, without any special warmth, strapping along of scalawags, moonshiners, and ailing on his back pixen with a whiskey. ये पीता रहता, शराब पीता रहता है, ये करता रहता है ना. And a pestering folks with a pack of hungry trifling hounds to feed. और इसके दोस्त आते हैं जो कि खाते वाते रहते हैं. इसके दोस्त हैं जो खाते वाते रहते हैं, ठीक है. When she keeps throwing skillet lids came Rancy's symphony. Rancy की सिम्फनी है भाई, एक skillet lids जो है ना वो फेंकती रहती है ना. Skillet lids जो फेंकती रहती है came Rancy's hand and slings boiling water on the best coon dog in the Cumberland and sees herself aging, cooking a man's victuals and keeps him awake of nights, accusing him of a sight of doings. मतलब बहुत वैसी violent aggressive सी है. When he's always fighting the revenues and gets a hard name in the mountains for a mean man, goes going to be able for sleep at nights. बाहर जाता है, कहीं भी सो जाता है, माउंटेन्स में जाके घूमता रहता है, मुझे अकेला छोड़ देता है. The justice of the peace started deliberately to his duties. He placed his one chair and wooden stool for his petitioners. He opened his books of statutes on the table and scanned the index. तो justice of peace ने देखा भाई इंडेक्स में क्या क्या है. Presently he wiped his spectacles and shifted his instincts. The law and the statute, said he, err silent on the subject of divorce as far as the jurisdiction of Con Air concerned. But according to equity and the constitution and the golden rule, it's a bad bargain that can't run both. If a justice of the peace can marry a couple, it's plain that he's bound to be able to divorce them. भाई अगर तुम लोगों की शादी हुई है तो जस्टिस ऑफ पीस जो है उसको डिवोर्स भी कर सकता है. This year office will issue a decree of divorce and abide by the decision of the Supreme Court to hold it good. ये ऑफिस तुम्हें डिवोर्स ग्रांट करता है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट से कि इसको अबाइड करे. Rancy Bribro drew a small tobacco bag from his trousers pocket. Out of this, he shook upon a table $5 note. उसने आया और उसने $5 note. Sold a baskin and 2 foxes' fur for that, he remarked. It's all the money we've got. हमारे पास इतने ही पैसे मैंने $5 से जो कर दिया था. The regular price of a divorce in this county मतलब county की बात है, said the justice, air $5. He stuffed the bill into the pocket of his homespun waist with a deceptive air of indifference. $5 ही डिवोर्स के लगते हैं, उसने $5 अपने पास रख लिया. With पाँच. With much bodily toil and mental travail, he wrote the decree upon half a sheet of foolscap and then copied it upon the other. डिवोर्स डिक्री उसने हाफ अ शीट ऑफ foolscap लिया और फिर कॉपी किया. Rancy Bilbro and his wife listened to his reading of the document that was to give them freedom. Rancy Bilbro उसकी बीवी जो थे, उन्होंने वो डॉक्यूमेंट सुना, freedom. Now all men by these presumes that Rancy Bilbro and his wife Ariella Bilbro this day personally appeared before me and promises that hereafter they will neither love, honor nor obey each other. ये दोनों मेरे साथ हैं, ये एक दूसरे को प्यार, ऑनर और ओबे नहीं करेंगे. Neither for better nor worse, being of sound mind and body, and accept the summons for divorce according to the peace and dignity of the state. Herein fail not, so help you God, Banaja Vidap, justice the peace in and for the county of Piedmont, state of Tennessee. The justice was about to hand one of the documents to Rancy. The voice of an Ariella delayed the transfer. Both men looked at her. एक एरियल आई, उसकी ट्रांसफर है. एक एरियल आई, उसको दोनों ने उसको देखा. एरियल क्या होता है? कोई लड़की है. The dull masculinity was confronted by something sudden and unexpected in the woman. Judge, don't you give them that paper yet. Tain't all said no how. I got to have my rights first. I got to have my alimony. Tain't no kind of a way to do for a man to divorce his wife without her having a cent to do with. ठीक है ना, आप पेपर मत देना. एक आदमी दूसरी औरत को डिवोर्स नहीं कर सकता जब तक कि उसके पास पैसा ना हो. पैसा ना हो. I am a laying off to be going up to Brother Ed's upon the Hogback Mountain. I am bound for to have a pair of shoes and some snuff and things besides. भाई मुझे कुछ तो मिलना चाहिए, मैं अपने भाई के पास जा रही हूँ. If France can afford a divorce, let him pay me alimony. भाई वो डिवोर्स अफोर्ड कर सकता है तो मुझे alimony दे. Rancy Bilbro was stricken to dumb perplexity. There had been no previous hint of alimony. Women were always bringing up startling, unlooked for issues. Rancy Bilbro जो था, एकदम सरप्राइज, कोई बात तो alimony की हुई नहीं थी. Justice Benaja Vedap felt that the point demanded judicial decision. अब ये तो भाई judicial decision पे था. The authorities were also silent on the subject of alimony. But the movement's feet were bare. The trail to Hogback Mountain was steep and flinty. Era Bilbro, he asked in official tone, how much did you allow would be good and sufficient alimony in the case before the court? Era Bilbro, बताओ कितनी sufficient होगी alimony? I allowed, she answered, for the shoes and all to say $5. That aren't much for alimony, but I reckon that'll get me up to the brother Ed's. मेरे एड भाई के पास मैं पहुंचा दूंगी, मेरे को $5 दे दो और शूज दे दो. The amounts of the justice are not unreasonable. Rancy Bilbro, you are ordered by the court to pay the plaintiff the sum of $5 before the decree of divorce is issued. तुम्हें Rancy Bilbro इसको $5 देना है before मैं decree of divorce issue करता. I haven't got more money, breathed Rancy heavily. I done paid you all I had. अरे जितना मेरे पास था मैंने तुम्हें दे दिया. ठीक है, मेरे पास और कोई पैसा नहीं. Rancy बोला. Otherwise, said the justice, looking severely over his spectacles, you are in contempt of the court. I reckon if you give me till tomorrow, pleaded the husband, I am out to be able to rake and scrape it up somewhere. कल तक मेरे को दोगे तो मैं पैसा कहीं से लाके ला सकता हूँ. I never looked for to be a paying for no alimony. मैंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था कि कोई एलिमनी देनी पड़ेगी. The case is adjourned, said Benaja Vidap, till tomorrow when you all will present yourselves and obey the order of the court, following of which the decree of divorce will be delivered. तुम लोग कल सब आओगे और ये एलिमनी होगी और कल मैं कोर्ट का सेंटेंस दे दूंगा. तुम सुन रही हो? He sat down at the door and began to lose a shoestring. We might as well go down to Uncle Zia's, decided Rancy, and spend the night. Uncle Zia ke aage jate hain, spend the night. He climbed into the car on one side and Erela climbed onto the other. Obeying the flap of his robe, the little red bull slowly came round on a tack and the cart crawled away in a nimbus rising from its wheel. अम्मा सुन रही हो? तो कार तो थी आगे बढ़ी. Justice of the peace Benaja Vedap smoked his elder stem pipe. Late in the afternoon, he got his weekly paper and read it until twilight dimmed its lines. शाम को उसको पेपर मिला और जब तक रात तक जो था वो पढ़ता रहा. Then he lit the tallow candle on his table and read until the moon rose, marking the time for supper. Moon आया, supper का time था. He lived in the double log cabin on the slope near the girdle poplar. Going home to supper, he crossed a little branch darkened by a laurel thicket. The dark figure of a man stepped from the laurels and pointed a rifle at his breast. एक गया वो जा रहा था, तभी एक आदमी जो था वो आया और उसने राइफल उस पर डाला. His hat was pulled down low and something covered most of his face. I want your money, said the figure without any talk. I'm getting nervous and my fingers wobbling over this trigger. मुझे तुम्हारा पैसा चाहिए. अम्मा सुन रही हो? मैं राइफल लेके आया और मैं नर्वस हूँ और मुझे मेरा पैसा दो. I've got only for $5, said the justice, producing it from his waist pocket. Roll it up, came the order, and stick it to the end of this here gun barrel. Roll up करो और इस gun barrel पे डालो. The bill was crisp and new. Even fingers that were clumsy and trembling found little difficulty in making a spill of it and inserting this with less case and the muzzle of the rifle. Now, I reckon you king be going along, said the robber. The justice lingered not on his way. The justice चले गए और पैसा जो था दे दिया गया था. The next day came the little red bull, drawing the cart to the office door. Justice Benaja Vedap had his shoe on, for he was expecting the visit. In his present Rancy Bilpro handed to his wife the $5 bill. The official's eyes sharply viewed it. It seemed to curl up as though it had been rolled and inserted into the end of the gun barrel. ये ऐसे ही था, वही बंदा आया था, उसने पैसे मांग लिए थे और गन बैरल से कर दिया था. But the justice refrained from comment. It is true that the other bills might be inclined to curl. He handed each one a degree of divorce. दोनों को divorce की degree दे दी. Each stood awkwardly silent, slowly folding the guarantee of freedom. The woman cast a shy glance full of constraint at Rancy. I reckon you'll be going back to the cabin, she said, along with the bull cart. There's bread in the tin box sitting on the shelf. देखो तुम cabin जाओगे तो bread मिलेगी तुम्हें tin box sitting on the shelf. I put the bacon in the boiling pot to keep the hounds from getting it. और मैंने bacon उसमें डाल दिया ताकि hounds नहीं लगे. Don't forget to wind the clock tonight. और clock को wind up करने का मत भूलना. You are going to your brother Ed's? asked Rancy with a fine unconcern. तुम अपने भाई एड के पास जा रही हो ना? I was longing to get along up for tonight. I ain't saying as they pester themselves any to make me welcome, but I haven't got nowhere else for to go. भाई मेरे पास कहीं और जाने को है नहीं, अब पता नहीं कितना वेलकम होंगी. It's a right smart ways and I reckon I better be going. दूसरा मैं चली जाती हूँ. I'll be saying goodbye, Rance. That is if you care for to say so. I don't know as anybody's as a hound dog, said Rancy in a martyr's voice. But for not to want to say goodbye, lest you are so anxious to get away that you don't want me to say it. तुम अगर इतनी anxious हो जाने के लिए, नहीं तो मैं goodbye तो कहना नहीं चाहता तुमको. मुझे लग हाँ. Ariella was silent. She folded the $5 bill and a decree carefully, and placed them in the bottom of her dress. Benaja Wildrop watched the money disappear with mournful eyes behind his spectacles. And then, with his next words, he achieved the rank as his thought ran with either the great crowd of the world's sympathizers or the little crowd of great financiers. Be kind of lonesome in the old cabin tonight, Rancy, he said. Old cabin में आज बहुत अकेलापन रहेगा. Rancy Bilbro stayed out at Cumberland's, clear blue now in the sunlight. He did not look at Ariella. I allow it might be lonesome, he said, but when folks get mad and want a divorce, you can't make folks stay. भाई अगर lonesome तो होगा पर एक बार गुस्सा आ जाए और जब उनको डिवोर्स चाहिए तो दोनों को साथ तो रख नहीं सकते हैं, है ना? These others wanted a divorce, said Ella, speaking to the wooden stool. Besides, nobody don't want nobody to stay. भाई दूसरे को डिवोर्स चाहिए था, ऐसा तो नहीं था किसी को नहीं चाहिए. Nobody never said they didn't. Nobody never said they did. I reckon I better start on now to brother Ed's. Nobody can't wind that old clock. अरे भैया पुरानी घड़ी को तो कर नहीं सकते, ठीक है. Want me to go along back with you in the cart and wind it for you, Rance? The mountaineer's countenance was proof. तो वो बोली कि तुम चलोगे, मैं तुम्हारे साथ चलूं और वाइंड अप करके चलूं. Mountaineer's countenance was proof against the emotion. But he reached out a big hand and enclosed Nancy's big thick brown. Her soul peeped out once through her impassive face and hollowed it. Them hounds shan't pester you no more, said Rancy. I reckon I've been mean and low down. You wind that clock, Nancy. वो जो आते थे ना मेरे दोस्त अब नहीं आएंगे. हो सकता है बहुत मीन और लो हूँ. चलो नैन्सी. हैं? My heart hits that cabin, Rancy, she whispered. Along with you, I ain't going to get mad no more. मेरा हार्ट जो है उस कैबिन में है. मैं तुम पे और गुस्सा नहीं होंगी. Let's be starting, Rancy. Let's be starting, Rancy. हैं? So we could get home by sundown. अब चलो 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 नहीं हम लोग sundown तक पहुंच जाएं. Justice of the peace, Benaja Wildrop, interposed as they started for the door, forgetting his presence. In the name of the state of Tennessee, he said, I forbid you all to be defying of its laws and statutes. This court, this court is more than willing and full of joy to see the clouds of discord and misunderstanding rolling away from two loving hearts. But it is the duty of the court to preserve the morals and integrity of the state. तुम लोग मजाक बना के रखा हुआ है क्या हैं तुमने मजाक बना के रखा हुआ है This court remind you that you are no longer a man in life but are divorced by regular decree and as much heir not entitled to the benefits and protections of the matrimonial estate. Arella caught Rancy's arm. Did those words mean that she must lose him now when they just learned the lesson of the life? But the court ere prepared, went on the justice, for to remove the disability set up by the decree of the divorce, the court ere on hand to perform the solemn ceremony of marriage, thus fixing things up and enabling the parties in case to resume the honorable and elevating state of matrimony in which they desire. The fee for performing such a ceremony will be in this case with $5. $5 में ये मैरिज फिर से हो जाएगी. अब नैन्सी के पास पैसा है. Arella caught in the gleam of the promise in his words. Swiftly her hand went down to her bosom. Freely as at a lighting dove, the bill fluttered to the justice's table. Justice को $5 दे दिए, है ना? Her sallow cheeks colored as she stood hand in hand with Rancy and listened to the reuniting words. और शादी फिर से कर ली. हैं? Rancy helped her into the cart and climbed in beside her. The little red bull turned once more and they set out cheap hand claps for the mountains. Justice of the peace, Benaja Vidap sat in his door, took off his shoes. Once again he fingered the bill tucked down in the vest pocket. Once again he smoked his eldest pipe. Once again the speckled end swaggled down the main street of settlement, cackling foolishly. और ये कहानी खत्म हो गई. तो मजेदार थी, बहुत अच्छी थी.